Hi, thanks for tuning in to the Ask Valor Masterminds podcast, brought to you by CR Gutters and A Advanced Septic Services. My name's Galen.
I'm Joe.
And we're coming at you from the BD Local Studios in Tacoma, Washington. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the podcast. All right, welcome to the Ask Valor Masterminds podcast, brought to you by CR Gutters and A Advanced Septic Services. My name is Galen.
I'm Joe.
We're coming at you from the BD Local Studios in Tacoma, Washington. So, Joe, for our new listeners and viewers, can you tell them how our Ask Valor Masterminds podcast came to be?
Sure. So it started out as a Facebook group page. Wanted to bring businesses together to talk to each other, share tips, secrets, whatever, all related to business. Being that we're in marketing and we meet with a lot of different businesses, everyone has different questions, not just relating to marketing, but just in being a business owner as general. So we thought what a great idea would just be to bring different guest speakers on to talk about all kinds of different topics.
Awesome. So in our continuing to celebrate, October is National Women's Small Business Month. We have a guest in studio today. So Joe, can you give a quick intro to our guest today?
Yep. This is Jamie Taylor. She's the owner of Confete Putty. And we're going to learn a little bit more about her and business.
Awesome. So our last episode, we had Anna Choi, conscious business coach. What was one of your main takeaways from our last podcast episode?
She gave a secret called Alive, but the first one was adding more yin to your yang, which is simply putting the focus on you. So she related her story as most people plan vacations around work, and her philosophy is schedule the vacations first, so that way you have the energy and focus to go to work.
Right. And I'll kind of piggyback on that too. It's the I in Alive, so invest in you first. Especially the kind of morning I had, homeschool dad, kind of kid meltdown. You always want to focus on you, make sure you're mentally, physically right, so you could just be your best self and optimize kind of, how you operate during the day.
Yeah.
So now we come to our section, Q Image 1, our Valor Cares promotion. So we've had this promotion for a little bit. Joe, can you tell our listeners and viewers what that promotion is all about?
Yep. So we're in a position where we can give back to local businesses, local or nationwide businesses. So we're building one website for free every single month and giving it away. So business owners can go onto our website. There's going to be a link at the bottom here. If there's not, send us a message. But they can go and apply, and then every single month, a committee of people choose one winner, and we build a free website.
Awesome. So we'll share more about those details on our social media feeds and everything.
Yep.
Q Image 2. Now we come to our A Advanced Septic, one of our sponsors, Pump You Up quote of the day. So since it is National Women's Small Business Month, one of the most successful women entrepreneurs is Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx. And I'll say this quote, then Jamie, maybe you could give a thought or two, and we'll chime in also.
Okay.
So embrace what you don't know, especially in the beginning, because what you don't know can become your greatest asset. It ensures that you will absolutely be doing things differently from everyone else, from Sarah Blakely. So part of today's topic is starting your own business from scratch and overcoming obstacles. How does that quote resonate with you in terms of doing things differently or, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea what I was doing when I started my business. And so I think on that topic that when you don't know what you're doing, you're able to kind of look at things with a fresh set of eyes and approach something differently and be able to provide something that maybe people wanted because, you're not doing things the way everybody else and everybody in the industry is doing it. So she's absolutely amazing. So if anyone hasn't read her story, they definitely should go. It's very inspiring and uplifting.
And especially with just entrepreneurs in general, when you start a business, it's usually because you have a passion in something. So you probably started because you saw that need wasn't being met, right? So obviously there weren't 10 other competitors doing it. So I think I could do it better, right?
Definitely. I mean, I worked at a lot of small businesses, and
Right.
It was funny. I remember seeing how I always wanted to own my own company. I did know that. I never knew what it would be necessarily. I never really had this drive for this one specific thing, but I saw other business owners when I worked with these small businesses, and I for sure was like, if they can do it, I 100% can own my own company. I think the hardest part was really kind of identifying what that would be. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of, progressed from my background and what I'm interested in. So, but it took a while. It wasn't
overnight.
I remember listening to podcasts and I remember hearing people say that they just, like, it just came to them one day. And I was like, well, how does it just come to you one day? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm actively thinking, like, what would I love to do? What do I want to do? What could I see myself doing? And it never really came to me, but with my background in design, I always knew it would be creative on some level. It's just funny. I feel like every little step in your life is like a step closer to what you're trying to do. But it was a very intentional thought process on what I was. It didn't fully fall into it. Like maybe I wish I would have. I mean, I wish it was like, Bill Gates, like he knew what he was doing from a very young age and just kind of went. And I think that's definitely like an easier route. But I think for most people, you have to put quite a bit of time into thinking about what you enjoy doing and what you, especially when you're creative, right? Like if you're creative, you can apply that to many different industries.
Right.
So then it's like choosing what industry you want to land on.
Right. Well, thank you for that. So we'll transition now into our See Our Gutters Did You Know segment, Cue Image 3. So I'm coming up with, obviously, we're still in a pandemic, and there are a lot of businesses, entrepreneurs pivoting and everything out there. So I just wanted to share Cue Image 4, some famous pivots in business, and feel free, Joe, Jamie, to chime in with a thought. I just thought these were really intriguing, especially during this time. So Cue Image 5. Everyone knows Samsung, right? Smartphones.
Yep.
I'm not an iPhone user. I have a Galaxy.
Same.
Sorry, Apple people.
Boo.
There. But Samsung, from grocery to Galaxy. So selling groceries was Samsung's first business, mostly dried fish and noodles. But after the Korean War, Samsung expanded into textiles before branching out to electronics in the late 1960s. So fast forward to now, that move continues to ring up extraordinary profits. They're the 8th most valuable brand in the world, according to Forbes, at $50.4 billion. So had they not pivoted, I don't think groceries would get you to that value,
No.
would they?
No.
Wow.
Being an innovative company. Next pivot, Cue Image 6. So Instagram, for my daughter's birthday, I let her have an Instagram account. She just turned 15, right? So
I like the way that you said let. I'm sure
yeah.
she has a spam account because kids these days has a personal and a spam. Just so you're
Well,
aware.
I made sure to check putting an app on the
15,
phone.
good for you.
Yeah, I tried holding off as much as I can, right? She wanted an Instagram account before learning how to drive, so must be that generation. Anyway, originally, before it was Instagram, it was originally a check-in app. So after $500,000 in seed funding, pivoted to be a photo sharing app. So look at them now. It was originally named Bourbon after his favorite drink, but photo sharing. So 2 months after its release in October 2010, they had more than 1 million users, and today they're well over 1 billion. Wow. So a pretty smart pivot on their part. Cue Image 7. So for our WFH people, which means work from home. So a lot of people are working virtually and everything. Slack, which is a messaging app, used to be a messaging platform in a game called Glitch. I don't even know what this was. I'm not a gamer, but that pivot now has led them to be like a $17 billion company.
Crazy.
So one feature, messaging, to apply it to an enterprise platform to everyone out there, it's a pretty good pivot. So
Yeah, we used it with our company.
Yeah.
Because it was nice to eliminate emails, like unnecessary emails, and you can have these
silo
chats.
different people with. I want to talk to my design team, to my tech team, to whatever,
Yep.
or the whole organization. So, Cue Image 8. So for all the work from home parents out there, pivot from soap to putty. So Play-Doh. Just real quick, if there's a parent I'm not so fond of, I'll give Play-Doh all the time as like a gift because it is the worst thing to clean up if you have carpet. I hate Play-Doh. So if I'm not so a fan of that parent, I'll give like a Star Wars or Marvel Play-Doh set and have them enjoy cleaning it up because it's crazy. But anyway, they were originally a cleaning product company. Their main product was selling a soap that removed coal soot from wallpaper. But since people started changing the way they heat their homes, they pivoted to this product where it's like a putty-like product. And now we'll look at where they are. So interesting pivot, but still do business nonetheless.
Yeah.
So if I don't like a parent, I send them Putty.
Well, if they have young kids.
Gotcha.
'Cause it is, when you play with that stuff,
Yep.
as a dad cleaning that stuff up,
We have a friend who hated. He was like, "Please do not get us Play-Doh for our daughters." And we bought them like the biggest set that you could possibly get. Like, he's just one of those friends we always play like jokes. So it's literally like, what does he not like? That's what we're getting his daughter for her birthday.
yes. So cue image 9. So from hot dogs to tacos. So Taco Bell was originally a hot dog stand. He saw a popular taco restaurant across the street, so they learned how to make tacos. And, by 1970, the company went public with 325 restaurants. Now they have over 7,000 and are part of Yum Brands. So I don't think they'd be making a run for the border with hot dogs, but with tacos, they're ringing up some pretty good profits. So.
Yep.
And our last pivot, our CR Gutters Did You Know segment, Eastman Kodak. So everyone knows Kodak, right? Polaroid, everything. After more than a century making cameras, they pivoted recently with a $765 million loan from the government to produce starter materials for generic drugs in an effort to fight COVID. So
Wow.
talk about a pivot from technology to pharmaceutical. They did that just because of the needs of kind of what the country, the world needs right now. So cue image 11. For National Women's Small Business Month, I still wanted to share a stat. So thank you, Jamie, for representing women-owned businesses around the country. There are nearly 13 million women-owned businesses in the United States, employing 9.4 million workers and generating a revenue of $1.9 trillion. So
Wow.
women entrepreneurs, women-owned businesses are just doing it there, helping the country grow, providing jobs, contributing to the economy. So we're just really proud to celebrate that as we did the same time last year. So now we'll transition to a formal introduction of our guest, cue image 12. Joe, you have the honors of formally introducing Jamie, please.
Sweet. So I met Jamie 4 years ago, right?
I think so.
Through the Gig Harbor Chamber of Commerce in one of their called Pillars groups. So that's how I met Jamie, and I've seen her transition. But these are some just her background. So she was an interior designer at Moe's Home Collection. She was the marketing and communications manager at the Gig Harbor Chamber of Commerce. She's the co-founder and creative director at Confete Putty. She's been featured on King 5, named 40 Under 40 in the South Sound magazine, and featured in the New York Times. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So just real quick, featured in the New York Times. What were you featured for in the New York Times?
So that was actually during COVID.
Oh, so pretty recently.
It was
Okay.
recent. So we had actually come out with a grad box. So all of the graduates weren't able to celebrate or even have a graduation. And so we put together a grad box that sent them all of their decor in their school colors, and it gave them a gift and like a sweet treat. And so it was just a way for grads to be able to celebrate at home and still have some sort of a celebration, because everything kind of seemed to come to an abrupt end. And the New York Times had found it, that we were doing this grad box, and reached out to us and said we're doing an article really kind of highlighting how grads are celebrating differently this year with COVID, and our boxes were kind of featured in that article.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
So for people who don't know, for our audience, can you just explain a little bit about what Confetti Party is?
Yes. So Confetti Party makes celebrating life's most important moments easier. So we do that through prepackaged party boxes, and it's kind of twofold right now. So we do that through party supplies, balloons, decor, streamers, all of that stuff you can find on our website. And we're transitioning, which I'm sure we'll talk about, with virtual party boxes that are a little bit smaller, more gifted party boxes, so you can hop on and do a Zoom call and still celebrate, colleagues and birthday parties and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely kind of shifted during all of this.
Right. COVID. Right. That's pretty cool. So we'll get to some questions now just to get to know you a little more. So the first question is, what are some lessons learned as an early entrepreneur?
That was a great question. When I was reading this, it's like, oh my gosh, all the lessons learned, especially with a product-based business. I would say that I learned so much in terms of e-commerce and just basics, honestly. Like, I felt like it was just basics and learning kind of as I went. And some of it is so, you would think it's simple, but it's so intricate. So shipping was like a big learning lesson, like how to ship and doing kind of, I guess, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. It's all the technical things on the back end of an e-commerce. Inventory management was really difficult. And then also knowing what products people wanted. So that was probably one of the hardest parts, was having a product-based business, but having inventory, like understanding inventory so you don't have too much of something. So that was probably something that was really difficult to learn.
And how did you go about testing that? I mean, you probably had some hunches on what the people wanted, but what was one of your ways that you figured it out? Because if you ordered a lot of one thing and, it's not selling, then I ordered something a little and people like that. How'd you figure that out quickly?
So, I mean, we just did order minimums on everything with our wholesalers. So it was kind of like whatever they had, we did minimums of that. And so we didn't have a ton of back order on things. And so that helped us. And then I really relied on my design background to pick out things that I thought looked good and that I thought people would purchase. I feel like I have a good eye for that. And really, we were very intentional. We didn't just like willy-nilly like buy product. We designed our prepackaged party boxes, and that basically fulfilled our inventory. So on our website, you have the ability to purchase prepackaged boxes that we've put together, or you can kind of go to our build a party box and build your own. And so they worked hand in hand, and that kind of filled that side of our inventory.
Okay.
So as you're learning all these lessons, what is the best piece of advice so far you've been given?
So I feel like in the early stages, the best one was from my chiropractor. He had one, it was really patience at the end of the day, but his advice was, you're going to continue. Like in the beginning, you kind of feel like you're going to open up this business and all of this business is going to start coming in, right? Especially if you have a network, which I felt like I did. But that's really not how it works at all. And so I remember him telling me, he was like, you will just continue to stretch this rubber band by going to networking events, by meeting people, like just keep like beating the streets, keep doing it. You're going to feel like you're not getting anything out of it. And one day that rubber band is going to snap and all of that back work that you've been doing will come. And he was absolutely right. And the other one, I kind of felt like I self-coined this, but apparently Marie Forleo has a book out about it. And so maybe she beat me to the punch, but I was always somebody who just figured things out. Like I feel like with Google, there's really no reason to not know how to do something anymore.
Right.
And so it really just kind of takes action to figure something out. And that has been this whole thing. I had zero experience with inventory management, owning an online business, owning a product-based business. I just kind of had an idea and I really just put it out there. And what was great was we didn't have a ton of market analysis, but what we did have is we were learning and hearing like what people were wanting. And we kind of have really grown our business still that way now. Like as we shift and pivot has all been from customer feedback and things that they're requesting for us to do. And so I lost my train of thought. And so, anyway, being able to figure things out as you go and kind of just being confident in that. I think that maybe comes like with time and experience a little bit. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like fake it till you make it.
Yep.
So since this is a marketing podcast, and again, thanks for being on today. Why is marketing your business important? Especially now. So
yeah, I mean, for me, we don't have a brick and mortar. So marketing is like key for our company because we're online. And I have always felt like, sometimes it felt like it would be easier to have a brick and mortar, right? Because you have like a place in a community. And I always kind of felt like online businesses never really you don't get that community support when you have an online business. And that we gained that through our online presence and through marketing online. And a lot of ours has been very organic. We have not done a lot of, paid advertising, which is...
I've tried. I've tried.
Well, we'll talk. We're ready now. I mean, it's hard in the beginning when you bootstrap your own business and there's not a lot of money to be had out there. You really have to kind of figure out where your money is best suited.
Yep. Be as resourceful as you can with the limited funds you have, right?
Exactly. So we did a lot of influencer marketing and collaborations that way because we had product that we could provide. So that was probably, to begin with, the most inexpensive way for us to market in the beginning. So we did that. And then, of course, through
social media, you guys kill it.
Through social media, like that has really, social media has not been our number one focus this entire time. And that has really been how we've gotten our name out for the most part.
Is there a platform that works better for you guys? Is it Instagram?
Oh, yeah, hands down. Instagram has been great. Facebook, I mean, we post on there, but really we don't get a whole lot, which is really interesting. Pinterest isn't bad, but Instagram has been our main focus for all of ours. And what we do is very like image focused.
Right. Because you're selling the experience almost, right? You want to, hey, picture yourself getting this for this prepackaged, whatever kind of party, right? Graduation, birthday, anniversary, whatever, right?
Yep,
it's experience.
Yep. And our target demographic was on there. For most of who we were really targeting were women that are between the ages of like 35 and 45 for the most part. And that's really who's kind of on Instagram for the most part. So it seemed to fit really well, and we've grown very organically. But I think for us to take that next leap and next step, it's ready to kind of increase the marketing that we're doing.
Okay.
Sweet. So I'm going to ask then, what are a couple of major challenges so far you've faced as a business?
COVID.
So cue image 13. So, wow, that's the elephant in the room, right? So that's a big obstacle, right?
Yeah, so COVID is that. So how has COVID made you pivot your business?
Well, and let me go back. Prior to COVID, a big obstacle, I would say, would be funding at the end of the day. Like when you're bootstrapping your own business and funding and doing online, it takes a ton of money to market and be seen. And so that one is probably the biggest obstacle, and just being patient and allowing it to happen over time. So that was probably the biggest like learning lesson too, is like be patient and be resilient. Like you're going to be faced with issues and problems and you're going to have to overcome. COVID was definitely a testing time for sure, because it was, you know, the question was kind of like, where is our company going? So live events. So to kind of back up, we did prepackaged boxes, but then we started doing these large-scale balloon installations that were very artistic. We did a lot of corporate events, and that was really our bread and butter. Like we were doing that day in and day out, probably anywhere from like 5 to 10 installs a week. And so come like the beginning of March, like that came to a screeching halt.
Right. And
our party box business turned on. It was almost like a flip of a switch on both sides. And so we had to kind of shift and pivot, but that has been a learning curve, because what we're doing now is very different, and we're doing larger orders. And I'm telling you, like every year it's constant learning and changing. But COVID has been challenging, but I think there's going to always be challenges in your business, and you're going to have down moments. I've had moments where and my husband gets to listen to all of it. And it's like, you just sometimes need to get it out. It doesn't mean that you're not like vested in your business. It doesn't mean, and I wish people would get over that, because I feel like most business people don't share the downs of owning a business. But sometimes it's like, you just need to like get it out, and then you can move on. But sometimes people interpret that verbally of saying those things or those worries or those insecurities as like you're giving up, when that's really, it's not what it is. It's just like you need to kind of get that energy out of yourself. Yeah. And so I've had some of those during COVID, and but we've rebounded really well, considering like what events are right now, because that industry has almost like ended completely. So I feel like we've definitely shifted, but a lot of that was listening to our customers and what they were wanting, and that's really kind of how we've developed the new products that we're carrying now.
So with your pivot, so you're at the point of your business, COVID forced you to kind of innovate and recreate yourself, Confetti Party, right? So do you have things that you're looking to try or add on for the upcoming year, heading into like the 2021 calendar year? You're saying your boxes kind of have expanded. I think it's people, when I find things online or shop, always look at like, oh, what else are you offering, right? So it's like, oh, add this. I get to check out from whatever I'm buying. It says, oh, people usually add this, or that
also add this on.
Right. So are you guys doing something similar then too? Like, is it more like web based, or when do people call, then you'll recommend on the phone, or is it a little bit of both?
So it's all online.
Okay.
And we're shifting our party boxes from being, so our original party boxes were really geared towards hosting a party. So it included plates, cups, napkins, decor, everything that you would need to throw an Instagrammable party.
Does it include alcohol?
We're getting to that.
All right.
Nice.
We've had a guest on who Heritage Distilling, Justin was on. So, yeah.
So we just partnered with them, actually. We came out with kind of a one-off box. It's called the Drunken Debate Box. So we don't normally get political, but we wanted to have a little bit of fun with these elections because everything's a little heavy right now. And so we thought, what if it would be fun to come out with this Drunken Debate Party Box? It's sold per person, so everyone got like a fun, like, patriotic cup, and we had these fun little glasses, and you had a vote pin, but we can't sell alcohol. And so we don't have the licensing for it yet. And we don't, and alcohol in general. Most likely if we do, it'll be beer and wine. But I thought, well, how can we have a drunken debate box and not actually have alcohol in it? And we had a game. So we had a drunken debate game where basically we came up with the most like said items that Trump and Biden would say, and then things that just would be brought up in general in the debates. And every time they did that, you would take a drink. And the idea was not just to like have a good time, but the idea was like people will actually like listen if you could listen to it.
For your word to take a sip, right?
Yeah.
So.
But so we ended up partnering with Heritage, and they sold the boxes on their site, and you could buy one of their like whiskey and vodka sets, and they sent it out. So it was a really kind of a fun partnership to be able to do with them.
Oh, awesome. And it's cool, local helping local also, right?
Yes. And from when we started this, I was like, I really want to include like Heritage Distilling and other companies in our party boxes. So it was great to kind of have that come to fruition.
Right.
So, but we are shifting now. So from our boxes of like party supplies and hosting to really having virtual parties. And even as that shifts, one of the goals, I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to shift again. Once everyone kind of goes back to work and once everyone starts doing that. So what can we create now that would transition well when we start going back to work or doing more in-person things? And so we had started doing virtual party boxes where you can hop on a Zoom call and we will send you, we design the boxes. A lot of them are, if not all of them, are all very custom right now. But we will design it, send it to you, and you can host your baby shower. We had one where they were celebrating their colleague had a promotion. Some of them are party focused and some of them are more gift focused. And so that is what we're going to shift to in the future. Is we feel like there's a niche where you might want to celebrate your colleague, and it could be in person or it could be virtual, but we will send you a gift. And if you want to, you can make that gift a party. So you can add on the garlands and whatever you want to do to celebrate like their cubicle.
So it's a more like interactive experience then too, because you're opening the box and I'm getting something and someone on the other end is they're getting something too, and like, here you go. Right?
Exactly. So you can either send it to them as a gift, or if you want to celebrate in person, you can make it a party and have the gift, so you don't have to run out and go get that. But then you can also make it a party, so you also don't have to run out and get all the party stuff. So it all comes together. It includes a card, so everyone can sign it. So we're really trying to find that niche where, gifts, celebrating people needs to become a little bit easier, and it takes so much time to kind of run around. And the other caveat that we were talking about earlier is trying to make it as local as possible. So when we are putting these boxes together, we're trying to not put things in there that you see everywhere or that you can find everywhere, and we're trying to really buy from our local surrounding
You're not
businesses.
going to like a Target or Walmart and filling a box,
No,
right?
I
It's
would-
trying to be as
I would
local
cringe.
as possible.
So that's kind of what we're actually in the midst of kind of rebranding right now and redeveloping what we will be doing and launching our new prepackaged boxes come the beginning of the year, and really developing and targeting kind of corporate businesses as well, so that they can kind of elevate their gifting. And I think moving forward with COVID is most people likely are going to continue to work from home. So how do you keep that employee morale together, and how do you keep that connection that you have with your employees? And that is our goal, is to kind of fill that need.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on and sharing that. We applaud you for doing what you do, pivoting the way you do, and just, keep innovating and finding ways to succeed. So,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So we'll put her contact information, and when you get your new information, we'll be sure to post on our channels too. So in closing, cue image one. Joe, can you just remind our listeners and viewers about our Valor Cares program one last time?
Sure. So if you are a business owner and you don't have a website, or you have a website you don't have access to, or your website, just sucks, easiest way to say it, then you would go to valormarketingllc.com/valorcares, and you could apply your business to be kind of in the mix of hopefully picking a winner for December.
Tease And one other thing we want to give a shout out to is, Joe, we're hosting an upcoming workshop.
Oh, yeah.
A Google-sponsored workshop, right?
Yep.
Tease it a little bit, will you?
November 18th. It's a Wednesday at 10 a.m. And because video is so important nowadays, a lot of businesses have pivoted to putting out more video content. We're going to have Carissa back on. She's a trainer with Google, and she's going to be talking about YouTube. Awesome.
So we'll put more information on that. But thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
So on behalf of our sponsors, Advanced Septic Services and CR Gutters, we are coming at you from the BD Local Studios in Tacoma, Washington. Thank you, and thank you, Jamie, for watching our Ask Valor Masterminds podcast. Thanks, guys.